made some improvements in the last week.
Really?
I read some things and kind of took them to.
Sure.
I think, so one of the problems I have is keeping an aim. Right? Like, the ball's down there, and I'm gonna aim. You know, what I do is, you know, I pick the point of impact. And then I come back on this end, and then figure out what to aim at to make that impact work. And if the aiming is outside of the ball, I have trouble with that. Because this,
So if it's a steeper cut then?
yeah, I have trouble finding and keeping a target.
Okay.
You know, like the 8-ball doesn't have any markings on it.
Right. Right.
But there's gotta be a method of aiming that I just don't know.
Yeah, there's a few specific techniques that you can use, and then the rest of it is kind of
It's feel.
feel. It's a lot of feel because
I'm glad you said that because that's what I use. And I'm thinking, you know, you get down, pick a spot, you get down, aim it, and you think, okay, that's not right.
Mhm.
And so then you adjust it to what you think is right.
right.
You know, but sometimes that's like I would say my hardest is like something like that.
Okay.
Well, that was not too bad. It's more like you get all set up. Something like that. But a lot of times I can miss it by that much. That same shot, I don't know why. It's either I'm doing something at the very end,
Right.
or
I think, well, that shot you just did, that's all you did, right? You're not playing a game.
right,
You don't have another ball to shoot at,
right,
right? It's not the 8-ball, it's for the win.
right,
You don't have teammates sitting there watching you, and you just got down and shot the ball,
right.
right? What you need to do is you need to get to that point every time you shoot,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Every shot is aim the ball, make the ball, leave the cue ball in position for the next shot.
Yes.
You do all three of those well, you run the table.
Yeah.
Right?
Simple. Just
and
easy.
it really is simple. It's not easy,
Right.
but it's simple, right? You don't need to overcomplicate things. So we can work on a couple of things. Your stance and your stroke look good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think there's really anything we need to work on there.
Okay,
Your
good.
approach to the ball, however, we could probably work on a little bit.
Okay.
When you were going from one ball to the next,
Uh-huh.
you went from point to point to point and shot, right?
Uh-huh.
What I would recommend that you do, what we're gonna do, I think mostly today, is work on your pre-shot routine.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
That's good for a couple of things. One is it slows you down just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It gets you prepared for every single shot. And if you get into this routine, it's kind of like driving a car. After a while, when you first learn to drive a car, you gotta check the mirrors, you gotta exactly. You gotta remember how much to push the pedal, and if you're learning a stick shift, you gotta all of that. After a while, what do? You get in the car and you go to the bar to play some pool.
Yeah.
You don't think about all that stuff you have to do because that's a routine now, right? It's so ingrained in you that you don't even think about it.
Okay.
You okay?
And that's where I want to get. It's like I can make good shots,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
You've got all of the pieces. You just need to put them all
Yeah.
together.
Like, have you been to Russ's house?
No.
So he had that party, or guys had that party Friday night, and I went there, and I ran the table, and
Mhm.
he's got his table is just like the numbers 1 and 2.
Tight.
Yeah, at Crown, I've never done it. You know, I mean, with
Mhm.
people around and
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Just,
And you get the, when for me, I have a lot of trouble with too much sensory input, right?
Mhm.
So I struggle at the ball sometimes. Aurora could tell you, especially if certain people are there who crank up the jukebox,
Oh,
and
yeah.
there's lots of people there,
And Des
and then
is
there's
screaming and.
yes, exactly, and then there's all of her friends are in there, and they're all at the bar yelling,
Yeah.
and there's a game going on, and it's like if there's most of the time I can kind of put that
Filter it.
aside, I can kind of filter that stuff out, but sometimes there's just a little bit too much, and then oh god, it's so hard to focus.
Yeah, me too.
But that's really what the whole point of this game is, to get into a zone, to get into.
Yeah, yeah.
When you ran the table, you probably felt like you were just in the zone.
Yeah, and I knew
it
I
was
was-
just nothing but the table.
And I knew I was
just,
gonna run it, I could
Yeah.
just look and say, I'm not gonna miss here.
Yeah, exactly, and that's part of it, the confidence.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
If you have
I
any doubt in yourself, it's gonna.
everything, you know.
Yeah. Your brain doesn't know negative, right? Your brain, like, it's the typical thought experiment. Don't think of monkeys.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
Your brain doesn't know how to not do something. It
Yeah.
just knows positive.
Right.
It just knows how to do things, right? So if you're on a table and you're like, I can make all of these shots, your brain just goes, okay, I can make all these
Yeah,
shots.
of
I can
course
make
you
it."
can. You
But
have
if you
the
look at it
floor.
and go, oh my God, this is a tough table, I don't know if I can run it. Your brain doesn't hear the negative stuff, the don't. It just hears, I'm not going to run it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So your subconscious kind of just basically says, okay, well, we're not gonna run it, so.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, so might as well not even.
Yeah.
You know.
How many times have you gotten down on a shot, right? You're on a table and you're having a good night and you see this shot right here.
Mhm.
And to you, that pocket down there looks like a bucket, right? You're just like,
Yeah.
that is an easy shot. Other times you've been playing, you're down, you got one more ball, your 8 ball is down here,
Yeah.
and you need the points in order to win the round. And all of a sudden that pocket down there gets about that big.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's like, can I make
It's
this?
all up here.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same pocket. It's just, do you feel confident that you're gonna make that, right?
Yeah.
So what you kinda have to do, if you hear yourself having that negative, oh my God, that looks like a tough shot, you kinda have to reset yourself and go, you know what? I have made this shot 100 times.
Yeah.
Think about those times you've made it. Think about the ball going into the pocket. You kinda have to drown out the not going to make it with the I'm going to make it.
Yeah. And
I know how to make this shot.
Forget the consequences.
Exactly, and you're not forgetting the consequences because you can't.
Right.
The more you focus on not thinking of monkeys, you're going to think of monkeys, right?
Right.
So you just think, I'm going to think of elephants. Nothing but elephants. I see elephants,
Yeah.
right? All of a sudden, you're not thinking about the monkeys anymore, right? That's what you want to do. You don't want to sit there and go, stop thinking about missing this, because your brain's going missing,
You
right?
Go, I can make this.
Yes,
I have
I've made
to
this.
do it.
Well, I've made this 100 times. I could chunk. It's going to go right in the pocket. I'm going to get down. I'm going to shoot it, and it's going to go right in.
Instead of, "God, these are the ones I always screw up."
Yeah, and exactly. So, and it's also the same thing. Now, what's the other part of the shot? The other part of the shot is putting the cue ball
Right.
in position for your next shot, right? Again, you're not thinking about, I got to put half a tip of right spin on this and follow it, but I make sure I don't hit it too hard, but not too soft. No.
You want it automatic.
You want it automatic, and the way you do it automatically is say, let's say the ball's here,
Mhm.
right? And you've got kind of a tougher cut. So you say, okay, well, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a Z shot on the cue, and I'm just going to make sure the cue ball is here. This is where I want to be. If you ever watch the pros,
That's what I would do.
you'll see them do this. Just watch Oscar Dominguez. He'll come over here. He'll go, I like this shot, and he'll put a stick on the table.
Let's
And
see
then
that.
he'll
Yeah.
leave it there, and he'll come over here, and he'll look at that and say, that's where I want the cue ball. Then he doesn't think about all the other stuff. He just knows, I got to put a little bit of follow on this.
To get it there.
So now I know I need to do follow. I don't need a lot of right hand spin. I just know, and now all I'm thinking, I just want it to be right about there. My brain will automatically fill in the blanks with how much speed I need to use and all that. Then I'm gonna get down on the shot, and hopefully my subconscious is gonna guide that cue ball right to where I wanted it, or very close.
Okay.
Right? So that's the other part of it. That takes a lot of practice. It takes just a lot of repetition.
Yeah.
And if you're like, okay, this is what I want to work on, you set up this shot and hit it 50 times.
Yeah.
Right. One of my favorite adages is, when you're practicing, don't practice until you can make the shot. Practice until you can't miss the shot.
Okay.
Right. I'm not gonna just keep going and I made it. Yes. Okay, on to the next one.
Yeah.
No, I made it. I made it again. I made it again. I can't miss this shot. I'm just doing it the same way every single time. Now I can move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So let's talk about the pre-shot routine.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think is a pre-shot routine? Part of the whole routine of your shot.
Okay. So obviously you pick your shot. What ball am I going to shoot, and where do I want it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I get down on the ball. I get a pretty good angle.
Okay.
An idea of the angle.
Mm-hmm.
And I always look at the angle from the ball to the pocket.
Yep.
Pick my spot. Pick an aim. And I start stroking at least 3 times. Then the last one, I stop a little bit, and
Okay.
what I try to do is do a smooth acceleration, what do they call that?
Follow through.
A constant acceleration.
Yes.
And then follow through is something I need to work on too. I don't know whether to, follow through.
You don't want to overdo. Your follow through is you just want to go through the ball. When you talk about the acceleration, you're accelerating to the ball.
Yeah.
You basically want to be going your full speed that you want through the ball, right? That's how you determine how far the cue ball is going to go. If it's a short amount, you're still following through, right?
So I gotta just follow through till you're on the other side of the ball.
It's just it might just be 4
otherwise,
inches, 6 inches.
Otherwise, what good is it?
Yeah, and you don't want to be dropping your shoulder. You don't want to lift the cue up. What you want to do is you want to go straight through the ball.
Yeah.
Right, straight through. And you can't really go much farther than that. You try to do
That's
that, you're
true.
moving your
That's
shoulder.
Exactly.
You see what I mean?
Exactly.
So a follow through looks something like this. Right? And so I only went about 3 or 4 inches.
Yeah.
But I'm accelerating through the ball. So anyway, back to the pre-shot routine. This is a pre-shot routine. Okay, so this is everything before the shot. It starts the moment the cue ball stops.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Pick up your chalk.
All right.
You should always chalk your tip.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean, first of all, don't do it like that.
Okay.
Look at your tip. Okay. So let's talk about chalking the tip.
Okay.
Look at your tip in the light. It should be an even coat all around, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to be using any English. And you may or may not, so you might as well
Yeah.
just do it the same every time. You might not even have to chalk. You might look at it and go, looks great.
Yeah.
Then I can put my chalk down and go for my shot. But I'm going to get there, I'm just going to touch it up. I'm actually looking at what I'm doing because I want that even coat all around, right?
Okay.
It's like you're painting a wall and you just want to make sure every spot is covered.
Okay.
Right? So that's part of your routine.
Okay.
Part of your routine is what I recommend, do you ever watch YouTube videos, players?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. Watch players, but watch a match, but watch what they do on every shot. Shane Van Boning's a good one. Oscar Dominguez is a really good one to watch.
They
Some
do
of
the
them,
same thing.
what they'll do is this chalk will always be right there with them, right? They'll get down, they'll do their shot. They pick up the chalk. That's all so natural they don't even think about it.
Yeah.
But they're looking at their shot. They're going to figure out where they're going to go, and they're chalking, right? It's all part of the routine. It's just a natural thing that you're doing every single time. chalk your tip, get used to it so much that you do it without thinking. That way you always have chalk on your tip if
I
you.
usually do, but I don't look at it, you know?
Yeah.
I'm always this.
Right,
you know.
right. So, and that's good for most, you know, if you've got a good cube of chocolate. You'll notice my chalks, this is when I have the cube chalks, my chalks never have a divot in them. They're always
What's that mean?
very flat. The little divot that they create, you know, that a lot of people grind in and it becomes a deep hole.
Oh, yeah.
Mine I always use the corners. So I'm always doing that.
Yeah, okay. God, yeah.
I almost never do this, right? Unless I have a brand new tip with no chalk on it, then I might do that just to get some chalk. Okay, now I'll kind of paint the corners and the edges and stuff. Most of your shots, if you're not center ball, if you're using high, low, left or right English, you're going to be hitting this part of the tip right there.
Yeah,
almost every time.
Yeah.
You look at.
And when you miss cue and you look, you can always see a little.
It's always
thin
right on the
spot
edge.
right there.
Exactly. See, even if it's just one tip over, you can see what part of the tip is touching the ball.
Oh, that's
See that?
right.
It's almost never, unless you're center ball. If you're high, it's the bottom of the tip there. If you're drawing it, it's the bottom of the tip. You have to have those edges, and you can't get that just by doing this, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're not looking.
Yeah.
You know. Now you'll watch like Jason Williams. That's he does this. He's like doesn't look at his tip at all.
All right.
But he also has a small tip. It's a very small tip, and you know.
Yeah, so the radius on the ball doesn't affect it that much.
Right. Right. A smaller tip, and it's also easier to get full coverage on a smaller tip. But I always, if you ever watch me, I always look at my tip.
How big is that tip? Like 11 and a half?
This is a 12.4. So it's about middle.
I think that's what this is.
Is this a Revo?
No, it's a Mez.
Mez, okay. Yeah, they look about the same size, 12.4.
I think it is,
Yeah. So anyway, pre-shot routine.
Uh-huh.
Chalking is part of it, okay? Now when you are preparing for your shots, for 3 balls out there, we'll run these balls, right? So first thing we're gonna do is, let's say that's what we have right now. First thing I want to do is I want to know, how am I going to run this out? What is my pattern going to be, right? That's part of your routine. So I'm looking at the shot there. I'm standing up. I'm not down on the shot.
Right.
You ever notice that when you're watching a pool match on YouTube, you're not down on the shot. When you're down here, your perspective is very narrow. Right? When you're up here, you're looking at the whole length of the table. It's even smart to walk around the table a little bit. You know.
Yeah.
If I do get a straight-in shot on the 5, how do I get onto the 13? Right.
Yeah.
I'm going from the 1 to the 5 to the 13. So do I want straight on? Do I want an angle like this so I can just come out here for the 13 on the side? You know, what does that look like? You know.
Yeah.
I can't see it from over there.
Yeah.
That's a
True.
good, I like this angle here, this line.
Okay.
Can I get on that line with this cue ball shooting the one in here? It's a good chance if I hit it too hard, I'm gonna come across the line and end up on this side.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. If I do, I can always come across and back out. There's a lot of different options there, right? But I wanna be aware of those.
Yeah.
I'm not anywhere near where I need to be to shoot. I'm on the other side of the table.
But you're looking at your next shot.
I'm looking at my next shot, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking at least 3 balls ahead.
Right. And that's what I've been taught.
Right. Not only do I want to shoot this ball next, I need to know where I need to shoot this ball.
Well, where do you need to be to shoot that one to shoot the 13?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is my aim line
Straight
for
line.
this is my aim line for the 5. Do I want to be on the right side of that? Do I want to be on the left side of that? How do I get to that line? You know, what's the best path for the cue ball to get and stay in that part of the. If I want to be over here, instead of coming across this way, it might be good to follow it down and just come down this line. So I'm on that side of the 5 for a good amount of time, right? I'm thinking about all of this stuff.
And then the closer you get, the more critical the angle is.
Sure, sure, but what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out, okay, this is where I wanna be on this
Right,
line,
where do I
over
wanna
here,
be?
on this side of the line. And so this is ideally where I wanna be, right?
Okay.
But now that's what I'm thinking of, this is where I wanna be,
Cause then you could just pop the 5 and then leave it for the 13.
exactly.
Okay.
So, that's part of my routine. Now, when it comes down to the shot itself,
Right. So
what
now,
I'm doing, okay.
at this point, have you figured out how I'm gonna get there?
How are you gonna get where?
To here?
I know how I would.
No, I mean, at this point,
Mm-hmm.
when you're ready to shoot, well, you stood up and you've looked at the whole thing.
Right.
At this point, do you know what you're gonna do?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted to do.
Yes.
You don't wait till you get down.
No. Then that's kind of where I'm going with all of this, is all of this is being done while I'm standing up looking at the table.
Okay.
I'm planning everything out. Right? So, now I need to focus on my shot.
Yeah, okay.
I'm shooting this in the corner and I'm leaving the cue ball there. How am I gonna get there?
Okay.
If I'm here, maybe I can just do a little pop draw, a little stun draw to bring it here, right?
Yes.
If I'm straight in, well, my strategy is gonna change a little bit, because now I can't get over it.
Right.
I can
right.
only get along here, and if I do something special, some weird masse or something like that, then I can, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible.
Right.
Now I'm going to commit to, I'm not getting on this side, I'm gonna stay on this side. In fact, this is my line, which is okay. I can just
Right.
follow this in and come out for the 13. So that's still okay. If I'm way over here, now I'm starting to think, well, maybe I'm gonna come into the rail
Yeah.
and come out
about
this way.
that.
Right. I don't wanna be straight in. I'm okay with this and I'm okay with this,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So, that might be, I can be anywhere here as long as it's not exactly there.
Right.
So I might do that. I might go forward. It just depends on the angle that I have on here. What do I feel
Right.
most comfortable with? And
Right.
there really isn't a wrong answer.
No, it's about abilities. Too.
Yeah, it's about your abilities, exactly. It's about what is in Tor Lowry, who does 0x billiards. He has some really good videos online.
Tor Lowry.
Tor Lowry, yes. I'll send you some links for that. He talks about shot repertoire. Right? He talks about aiming lines and aiming areas that you're trying to get into. Sometimes your target area is only this wide.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So if it's that wide, how do you get into that? Well, I'm certainly not going to try and come straight across and hit that tiny little target. I might, in that case, go to the widest part of the target, right,
Yeah.
and have it come off on that line. So he talks about target areas. He
Just when
talks
you're going
about
across like that,
Yes.
it's just critical. You gotta hit. The
you have to be
spot.
perfect. You have to be perfect. Yeah. The other one is shot
What do
repertoire.
you call repertoire?
Shot repertoire means what shots are in your bag. What are you good at, and what do you struggle with?
Yeah.
Your practice should be for the sole purpose of expanding your shot repertoire, right?
Eliminating.
Get better at the ones that you're okay at.
Uh-huh.
Learn the ones that you don't know very well.
Mm-hmm.
Really long cut angles, understanding where the cue ball is gonna go, what the path of the cue ball is gonna be, and all that kind of stuff. So if you have a shot like this, how well can you shoot the ball, and how well can you control the cue ball?
Right.
That's part of the shot repertoire, right? So this might be a 5% shot for you, right? So let's practice that so that you can get that up to 20%, 30%.
Mhm.
You're gonna be faced with these shots. You're not gonna leave yourself a shot like this, hopefully ever.
Not purposefully.
Right, but your opponent might.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to do these shots. So make them part of your shot repertoire as well. So that's exactly what you said. What am I comfortable doing? Do I feel comfortable doing a draw shot into the zone? Do I feel better doing a follow shot and coming down off the rail into that zone? Do I feel better going into the rail here and coming back out? Just what do you feel comfortable with, right? So again, all part of the pre-shot routine. But when we talk about that's the beginning part, is just analyzing the table.
Right.
When we talk about pre-shot routine, what we're talking about is you're ready to shoot this shot. what are the things that you're going to do? You know, putting the key in the ignition,
Mechanics.
starting the car, pushing the clutch in, adjusting your mirrors, all of that stuff that you're eventually going to forget about because it's so ingrained in you that you just do it every time, right? So we're just learning how to drive the car right now. So what are all of those things that we're going to do? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the aim of the one ball. I'm going to stand back here and look at my aim line, right? See my contact point on the ball, and you should learn how to see that with no references, right?
You mean no reference?
No spots on the ball for you to quote unquote cheat on, because most of the time you're not going to have it, or you know you'll have a stripe there, but the edge of the stripe is a little bit off from where you want to be. So get used to just seeing the spot, but then just kind of being aware of that spot, not really seeing the exact point, because you really can't. You just know kind of where it is, and you can still know it once you've done that. That's your line to make the ball. Now you got to worry about your aim line, right? From the cue ball to that point.
Yes.
So you're going to, and it looks like you're pretty good at that. We'll talk about aim in a little bit, but it looks like you're pretty good at visualizing that and getting that down. So, and you've shot enough that you can do this shot by feel. This is kind of where you're at.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, I know if I get down on this shot and it doesn't feel right, I know why, because I'm a little off. And that, again, still part of the same pre-shot routine. Don't do this. Right? You saw me adjust.
Yeah.
That's not an adjustment.
So if you adjust, you just start over.
You need to start over. You need to reset your feet. Because your feet are all part of part of the whole line.
I do
right?
that a lot. I do make adjustments. And that's when I said I've made some improvements. That's one thing I've really...
Stand up.
You know, just trust. You know, a lot of times I'll get down and think, I don't know, it doesn't look right, I'm gonna do a little left.
And at that point, you know what happens most of the time if you stay down on the shot and try to shoot it, you miss.
Yeah.
And you go, I knew I was gonna miss that.
Exactly, I knew before I stroked I was gonna miss that shot.
Aurora doesn't actually shoot in league or anything like that. I mean, she does shoot sometimes, but she doesn't. She watches me. She's there to support me, tournaments and league and all that. But she has told me numerous times that when I got down on a shot, that she could see I was going to miss it. And she's sitting over there. Yeah. Right? She can see that I'm going to miss it.
From the angle or from...
And I know you've probably done this too, where your teammate is getting down on a shot and you're like, oh no, she's going to miss it.
Yeah, that can't go in.
That's not going to go, right?
Yeah.
And then sure enough, they rattle the pocket or something, right? So you're behind the shot. Listen to that voice. That's the subconscious voice that's telling you whether or not, you know, that's a part of you telling you this is not good. Yeah. Right? Get up. Yeah. I always tell people to think of this as like red light and green light, right? When you're down on a shot, think to yourself, do I have a green light on this? Don't think negative, just think, do I have a green light on this? Am I going to make it? If you're not sure, if you are practicing, take the shot, because what will happen is that even if you miss it, your subconscious brain is going to catalog that, and that's going to be a reference in the future to, no, I won't make this shot.
Don't hit it there.
Right. And it'll just be a subconscious thing. Yeah. It's not something you're going to have to remember, oh my God, yeah, I was half of a degree off on this one. I got to... No. Your subconscious will catalog that and use that in the future to either give you a red light or green light. That's all you're doing, right? When you're practicing, get down. If it doesn't feel right, take the shot and see what happens, right? When you're playing, wait for the green light, right? So you're down on the shot. How does this look to you right now? Just tell me, yes or no?
No.
Exactly. And you don't have to get up there. Stand over there.
It's harder.
It is harder.
It's harder from a side angle, but I can't tell. I believe.
What do you think? Just gut reaction.
You're overcutting it.
I'm actually undercutting it. I'm straight on the one. Overcut would be way over here.
Right? Oh, okay.
But I think you knew that. You just. So what about now? Gut reaction.
Yeah, you're good.
that's what you're trying to do, is you're not trying to analyze the shot, you're just trying to get, what is the gut reaction, and if your gut reaction is, nah, I'm not sure, maybe it's yellow, it's not green, but it's
Yeah.
not red, but maybe it's yellow.
Yeah.
Get up and readjust, it doesn't matter, if, hey, you know, I may have been on that.
Yeah, maybe the same exact spot.
Yeah, there have been times when I'm like, I know this is the right aim, but something doesn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get up, I'll readjust myself, get down, make sure my foot's in line with the shot, step into it, and get right down and say, oh, that feels better, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's when I shoot. All part of the routine.
Yeah.
Right? Chalk. You can chalk while you're thinking. It's a kind of a subconscious thing. Make sure you always look at your tip before you're actually ready to go. You look at your tip. Aim of the shot. Get down with the shot. Now, we're still in the pre-shot routine, right? Now we're ready to stroke. We're ready to actually deliver the stroke. Do I want to be in an open or a closed bridge? That one. Usually, if I'm not going to hit center ball, and it's not a draw shot, I feel comfortable hitting an open draw shot. Follows, not so much, especially if it's a force follow. It's a strong follow shot.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm hitting a strong stroke, and I'm not hitting center ball, then I want to close bridge.
Okay.
Because the cue has less chance of moving around.
Yeah.
Right? I have a better chance of not slipping off the cue. You know, if I hit high, I can go over the top of it, and then I might still make the ball, but the cue ball is not going to go where I want it to. So.
I'm having trouble with the closed.
Are you?
Because of the arthritis.
Okay.
So I usually go open until I get to a spot that I feel I really need it closed.
Okay. We can kind of work on that.
Yeah.
But I might be able to help you with that. So anyway, so that's part of it. You know, do I want to open or close bridge? So I feel comfortable with an open bridge. I get down. I'm ready to shoot the shot. Now, just like you said, you like that, like 3 practice strokes.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like just a little, how does that feel? You know, just a little tiny stroke.
Yeah.
You know, draw back. Now, I'm not going to go, oh, I screwed up. I'm just going to be like, I'm going to catalog in my brain, I'm just going to say, I shot that a little bit too hard and left myself a tougher angle on the 5. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm going to tell myself. I'm acknowledging that.
I mean, the brain is doing all that for
you.
Yeah,
well,
cataloging.
I'm doing that because that's part of my routine. I notice what I did.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
But as part of learning your pre-shot routine, try to get in the habit of doing that. Mm-hmm. Analyze your shot for a second.
But what did you do wrong? Not wrong, but what did you do to go? You hit it too hard, too much English?
A little bit too much, no, just a little bit too much power.
Okay.
Should have hit it a little softer because I really wanted to come here. Or shot a little harder and come here and back out. Right. All I'm doing is I'm saying I acknowledge that it went a little bit too far. I could have hit it harder to come back out, or I could have hit it softer to come here. Right. And that's all. But I'm glad I have an angle. It's better than hitting it too soft and having a straightened shot. Yeah. Straightened shot, I'm gonna have to do a precise drawback to get the shot on the 13. This is a doable shot. It's just taking a little bit more work because now what I want to do is I want to leave the ball in the spot. I know what I need to do that. Okay. Right. So I know I'm gonna get down. I know I might. Sometimes I'll get down here before I'm ready to shoot, just to see what it feels like.
Right.
Just to see.
Check it out.
Do I actually feel like this is possible for me to hold it up, coming to the rail and coming out, and leaving it in this area right here? Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable about that. So then I can get back up. I can look at my aim to make sure that I've got the precise spot. Figure out the aiming line on my cue ball. Get down on the shot. Now I know that I'm going to do a little bit of low right, just because I want a little bit of hold up English on this rail, because I don't want it to come down this way. Okay. I want it to come back straight out this way. Right. So because I'm going to be using low right, that's pretty far off of center. I want to make sure I'm chalked up.
And then how far off do you go on this ball? Like,
it just really depends on how much draw, how much. I do it more by feel than anything else.
that's all.
That's something you can practice. When you do practice and you're practicing specific things, you should work on that specific thing. You're isolating one aspect of your game.
Okay.
If you're trying to figure out how much spin causes what, set up some shots and see what different levels of spin will do. Right. A good one is put a ball here, put the cue ball here, straight, with a parallel with it to cut into the corner, and figure out what different levels of English will do. Different levels of draw and follow will do.
Mm-hmm.
How does the cue ball, what's the path of the cue ball when it does that? Isolate that so you can start to catalog just how much works, right? I do it more by feel than anything else. And it also depends how hard I hit the ball, right?
Yes.
I can do an extreme draw shot. If I've got a ball sitting in the pocket and my cue ball's way back here, I can do an extreme draw so that by the time it gets to the ball, it's not spinning back anymore. It just does a stop shot, right? It just stops spinning.
Yeah.
You've seen shots like that.
Yeah.
I can hit it a lot softer if I hit more extreme draw.
Yeah.
Right? Because the whole point is hit it so it's spinning backwards and time it so that when it hits the ball, it stops spinning backwards. So,
Now is that, what do they call that shot? I mean, it's like when you
they call that a drag shot.
drag shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm ready for this shot. Now I'm in my ready to shoot kind of phase. It feels good. I got the green light. I'm hitting it low with a little bit of rut. Now I noticed a couple things. One, I missed the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of cataloged that, right? That has to do with my aim, but I also came a little bit up a little bit too far. Now that's a combination of a couple things. If I had cut it more, the cue ball instead of hitting here would have hit a little bit farther down, right? So if I had cut it properly, the cue ball would probably be more
If you had made
this
the
area.
shot,
If I
you
had
got
made the
straight.
shot, exactly.
Yeah. I say that a lot,
Yeah.
you know.
Everything is all related to each other, you know. It's like a lot of people are like, oh, I barely missed that shot, but I put the cue ball exactly where I wanted. Yeah, you did, but if you had made the shot, the cue ball wouldn't be there. It would be in a different spot, right? So just be aware of all of that. And that's all I'm doing right now. And if I'm practicing, I'm going to set that shot up again. Make sure I've got the same shot. Get down on the shot. Now I'm not thinking about the last shot. I'm not adjusting. I'm not saying, oh, I need to hit this more than I did the last one. Because honestly, I couldn't tell you precisely exactly where I aimed to miss it. Mm-hmm. All I know is that I missed it. My subconscious knows it better than I do, so I'm just going to rely on my subconscious to understand that. I'm going to look at my aim, look at my aim spot. Much better.
Yeah.
It's not perfect. I want it to be here, but I'm in the right line.
Right.
I feel confident about making that shot. So that's pre-shot routine. It's setting up. If you were a beginner, I'd be talking about your body position, your foot position. There's a lot to pre-shot routine, but that part of driving the car you already know. You've got that down. You don't really need help in that area.
Right, and if it's a little bit off of perfect, it's just gonna stay that way forever.
Yeah. You're. I don't think we're in a place where there's anything drastic there that we would need to fix.
Right.
You know, if I could analyze and look at, well, you know, your elbows tucked in a little bit, or you got little bit too tight of a grip on. But the fact is looking at all that, it looks pretty good. So I don't think there's really anything to work on there. But your pre-shot routine, I think what that will do, I think your biggest detractor as far as you being more consistent, which is something that you're trying to be, is you tending to do. This is what it kind of looks like when you were shooting earlier. And you didn't do this every time. This is a more drastic example of what you did. But you get down and you shoot. not necessarily a bad thing, especially with a really easy table, but pre-shot routine is not just about focusing when you have a tough layout. It's about getting into a routine that you'll do every single time, even if every shot is easy. Even if you have this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Okay, well, yeah, this is pretty easy, but you know what? I'm gonna focus on everything I wanna do here. It's like, yeah, I could easily just come up and go, boom and boom, I make it, and I got a straight shot on the 8. And yeah, this shot's easy, but what if it were right here, right? It's still easy, but what if you left your cue ball right on the rail? You're looking at this layout and going, let's actually make it an 8-ball game. Your opponent has made all their solids. This is all you have left, right? You just get down and shoot these because they're easy, super easy. And you've done it, I've done it, everyone's done this. So you just get up and you roll it in. You got a straight in shot on the 13, awesome. Straight in shot, now what do you have? A shot off the rail on a cut shot. And how many times have you hit these and they hit and they rattle?
Yeah.
Right? How do you make this easier? Very, very simply. First of all, now you're used to using a pre-shot routine, you're thinking about this. How would I like to shoot the 8-ball? Honestly, if I were anywhere in the middle of the table, I got that no problem, right?
Yeah.
So instead of shooting this up to the rail, let's do a little stop shot. Maybe a tiny bit of draw. I still have an easy shot on the 13. I don't have to shoot it hard.
Right.
I don't have to do some major stuff with it. If the 8-ball were here, it'd be different, right? But we're talking about an easy out. So now we just focus on this, get down on the shot. Again, part of the pre-shot routine. If I don't feel comfortable. A lot of times, if I'm straddling the corner here or something like that, I gotta do some weird stance. I like to get up and just make sure that that part of my body is comfortable. Because instead of doing my typical stance to shoot, now I've got to get out of the way of the corner. I have to do a more straight stance. So I want to be prepared for that. I know this is there. So I might shoot a longer shot. I'll grip a little farther down on my cue. Longer bridge, but it's okay. I can still do short shots with a longer bridge and just shorter stroke, right? Now, it's a cakewalk. I make this 99% of the time. I'm not shooting it off the rail here. So even if it's easy, get used to the pre-shot routine, get used to thinking about every single shot. Don't just get up and bang this one in. How many, I just said, 99% of the time I'm gonna make this. The other 1%, I'm gonna go, yeah, this one's easy. Right?
Yeah.
We've all done that. Yeah, so you're thinking about this, okay, this is an easy shot, but I want it to look good. I'm going to shoot a stop shot on this. I don't want that cue ball to move, right? That's what I'm going to do. Or let's say you've got a shot, the 8-ball's here, cue ball's right here, and you're just thinking, all I got to do is make this. No, you're not thinking that. You're thinking, I got a 9-ball right here. I'm going to get shape on it, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking, get down on this. I want the cue ball to come and hit this rail. Nowhere near a pocket, right? Because I got to get shape on this 9-ball. So I get down on the 8. I'm not thinking about this is the winner. I'm just going on to my next shot, right? I get down on the ball, put it in, cue ball tracks exactly where I told it to track, You're doing that, it's a little extra on the shot, but you're still training your subconscious.
So imagine there's a shot you're trying to get to.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
I've heard that.
Cue ball position on every shot, including the last one.
Yeah.
Let's do a 3-ball right now.
Okay.
Cue ball in hand. So, talk through it.
Okay.
How you're gonna run this out. Try to come up with a plan that's fairly simple.
So, for me, the hardest shot is that 7.
Why?
Well, because I can either go that way or that way, and it's close to the rail, and those are out in the open. So my thought would be, I'm going to shoot the 7 this way.
Okay.
And then I want the cue ball to be here,
Okay,
and I shoot the 9 in the left, or that way.
okay, that's one way to do it. And like I said, there's no
Yeah.
wrong answer. There might be answers that are a little easier, a little better.
Right.
But again, this is part of your shot repertoire. What do you feel comfortable with? So if you feel comfortable with that, that's great. Just remember though, that another key to running out, besides just making the ball and putting the cue ball where you want, if the cue ball is already where you want, why move it? So is there a way that you could run this where there's minimal cue ball movement, right? If you shoot this, you've got to get a pretty precise shot following the cue ball up about 1 diamond.
Yeah.
Right? If you put the cue ball here, you don't go far enough, what happens? You're shooting the 9, and now now the cue ball is coming this way,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Maybe you can put it in a position to make the 15 here, but there might be a better way to do that, right?
Okay.
What if you made the 7? You look at where the cue ball would be if you did a stop shot, you'll see that it's almost perfectly lined up. And if you follow the cue ball up, you might have a relatively simple shot
To the 9.
into the side. If the 9 were just here, now you make a stop shot on the 7, you make a stop shot on the 15, you make the 9 over here.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
I got it.
alright, go ahead and do it. And remember your pre-shot routine.
See, I wouldn't have seen that. For some reason, I would have gone 7, 9, and 15.
Okay?
But you're right, that's too much of a, I got about that big a window.
If we were playing rotation, you have no choice, you gotta shoot
Well,
the
yeah.
next, right? But if we're playing, you're playing straight pool or
Okay.
just practicing, random 3 balls,
Now this one got just a little angle. So I would kind of do
remember to look at your tip.
oh yeah.
You don't have to do it while you're doing it, just make sure that you look at the tip at some point, and then fix it if you have to.
Okay.
Okay.
This one I would just probably play to make it and just come off to the right a little bit.
Okay, and what's that gonna require?
A little bit of low right, or just low.
Yeah, don't hit right or left unless you have to. Right or left
Yeah,
only applies if you're gonna hit a rail.
I do that too much. Okay.
Good.
And then this one I would try to get shape on a ball here, so I'm gonna bring it down here.
Sometimes it's a good idea just to think in terms of, okay, I want to bring the cue ball into a rail. If I hit a rail, I'm not hitting a pocket,
True,
right?
true.
If let's say you said, oh, I'm gonna leave it right here. Well, that's in line with a pocket. If you hit it too hard, it goes in the pocket. Let's try a line let's just go to a rail if we can, or go towards a rail.
Got you. Okay.
Okay, stop,
Mm-hmm.
stand up.
Okay.
If you need to, even if you just need to look at the aim, you're reassessing your shot. Stand up.
Okay.
Now get in the line of the shot. Look at your aim, or look at your shot line. Figure out your aim line. Step into into the line of the aim, and then get back down. it's good that you reassessed and thought, do I have a green light? Good, right into the rail, perfect.
Yeah, but none of this, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you don't, you, when you're down on your shot, you are locked into the aim line. If you get off that aim line at all, if you're looking, you know, even if it's almost a straight in shot and you're just looking, I do that too. It's so easy just to kind of go, okay, that's where I want to be.
Yeah.
You know, you should just get up. Okay, that looks good. And then get back down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because if you were on the right, you know, it might be tempting for you to think, well, I felt like I had the green light, but I just wanted to be sure. And I'm afraid if I get off this, I'm not going to get the green light again.
Right.
I'm going to miss the aim line because I'm already on the aim line, right? So if you have the green light, go for it. Just go for it, especially practicing.
And if you don't,
then stand up.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha.
Okay. Let's talk about aim a little. Let's focus a little bit on aim.
Okay.
Like I said, I mean, you're 98% of the way there, I think. There's a couple of schools of thought on aim. I'm sure you've heard them. I think you've been around long enough to know. So, of course, one of them, of course, is the ghost ball method. Yeah. You're familiar with that. Yeah. Just to touch on it, that just means basically when you shoot the cue ball, you're looking to occupy the space of the one ball.
Yeah.
So you imagine a ball there, and then you shoot the cue ball right into that space. It's a great way for beginners to learn to understand how aim, when you're aiming a ball, especially to cut it into a pocket, how it works, and how the collisions work and all that stuff. And then they practice this number of times, they're like, oh, okay, I'm starting to get it now. But now we're talking more precise, you know, you want to make that ball into the corner pocket, and this ghost ball is the correct ghost ball.
Okay.
But this ghost ball will miss.
Right.
Right? How far off are those? A millimeter.
Very close,
right?
Yeah.
So you really can't aim at a ghost ball anymore because how do you know you're aiming at exactly that? Because what you're aiming at is the center of this space out here.
Yeah.
And how do you know you're aiming at exactly the right space?
Yeah.
Right. I have training tools that are actually pretty cool. One of them is this one. And basically what it does is it teaches you where the center of the ghost ball is. So you point this at the pocket, and that little dot right there is the ghost ball's center.
You're kidding me.
Yeah. And what's really cool, you can shoot that shot with the thing right on top, so go ahead and shoot it. Just for fun. I know you know how to aim, but
No, that's
just aim it right at that dot.
that's interesting.
Just make sure it's aimed at the pocket. It is. Aim it straight at the dot and just pop it in. Now you hit it soft. One of the things that we're going to talk about is why it does that. Why it did what it did. Because you hit it in the right spot. So go ahead and shoot it again, but this time give it a good pop, about medium speed. Cool thing is it just pops that out of the way without affecting the ball. And
So what happened the first time?
are you familiar with throw?
Some.
Okay, let's talk about that because I think you're at a place in your game where it's significant enough that you need to be aware of it. So there's a really cool trick shot. I'll take that.
Let's just take this to crown.
Yeah, just put it on the ball you're shooting.
Get
Yeah.
15 of them.
Yeah. What's really kind of fun if you're playing a beginner player, tell them to use this.
Uh-huh.
You know, they don't, as long as they don't move the ball, just tell them place this on the ball and play. And suddenly they're playing the same level as you.
Yeah.
It doesn't really affect. I mean, you don't want it running into other balls, but it's When you're just playing for fun, it's a good training tool. Just to, here, use this, and they'll start getting used to the thing. So, before we start going into the advanced aiming, I do want to teach you this about throw, sometimes called clean. So, I want to make that 3 ball.
Oh shit, okay.
I want to make that 3 ball in the corner pocket. Okay, these are all touching.
Wow.
Close enough. So the 1 and the 3 are lined up to the side or to the corner pocket, right? Perfectly lined up.
Yeah.
So I should make that 3. Or you would think, right? There's a part in your brain I can tell that's going, that's not going to go, but I don't know why.
Well, I think because
the question is, why did it do that?
Yeah, it was lined up, so let me guess.
Okay.
So you got a force vector coming this way. So I guess that momentum actually pushes the 3 into the rail.
Why is it doing that?
You got friction between the 8 and the 3.
Exactly. That's exactly why.
Okay.
And that is what throw is. It's
I
not a lot, especially with cleaner balls.
Yeah.
If the ball, if you're in a bar and you got really dirty balls, then
There's a lot of throw.
There's a lot of throw. Yes, that's exactly what throw
Okay.
is. Now the throw is approximately for the length of the table, and this is usually for a 9-foot table, but we'll see what it's like online. I haven't actually tested this, just to make sure that we have exactly parallel with the rail. We'll do that. Okay. Then we'll remove these balls. I don't need the extra balls pointing at it. I can just hit it.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens to the object ball. And I'm going to shoot this medium speed.
And you're just hitting right in the center.
Right center, like I'm hitting the ball on that contact point.
Wow.
Right, and you saw that it brushed the rail before. Now,
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And these are clean balls. These are the Predator Arcos 2 balls. Love these things. Okay, so we're making sure that we have contact there. Now, remember that it brushed the rail right about there, right? This time I'm going to hit it hard.
Alright. Okay. I see what happened. The force that you put in that direction is a lot more.
The friction's the same amount every
It
time.
didn't have a chance to come over.
Well, it's not that it doesn't have a chance. The friction is a constant amount.
Right?
I change the amount of the force. Therefore, the amount of time that it takes the ball to hit this rail is going to be the same every time. If I had a rail that was 50 feet long, it would hit the rail. It would take the same amount of time as my soccer shot. It took 1, 2, 3, right? If I hit it hard, it's going to go really far, but it's still going to take 1, 2, 3.
Right.
Same exact coefficient
so
of friction.
That rail before 1.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It didn't have a chance to get to the rail because I hit it harder. And it's a difficult concept for a lot, but since you talked about friction and you talked about vectors and stuff, I think you understand this pretty good.
And
a lot of people think that if you hit it harder, the friction is less, and that is not the case. It's just that the friction coefficient is the same every time. If you change the friction coefficient, it changes what the balls are going to do.
Right.
But you have to think about the vectors, and you have to think about, so the vector in this direction is exactly the same.
Right.
Because by the force of friction, right? So, and some people think, well, it's because when you hit it harder, the balls are in contact less time. No, they're not. It's an elastic connection. It's instantaneous.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's a soft shot, it's just a dip and it's off, right?
It's just point to point.
Or, exactly, and it's instantaneous. So the amount of time in between the contact is negligible. Right? There might be, I think Dr. Dave did some slow-mo videos, and he actually measured the amount of time. And for For a soft shot, it was like 11 microseconds,
Okay.
or 0.11 microseconds, something.
Yeah, whatever.
And it was, for a harder shot, it was like 0.08. It was not significant
Yeah.
enough
Yeah.
for it to really affect. So, but anyway, that is what throw is, right? And the simpler form is on a table, on the same size table, there's less throw when you hit the shot harder.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you.
Because it doesn't have time to throw, right? So, the angle does change. You know, for a softer shot, the angle is more steep. So, you have to be aware of that. When you shot that shot here, you shot it softly, and it threw in this direction.
Yeah. Yeah, if I
Right.
hit it harder,
So-
it got to the pocket before it could throw over.
Exactly. So we could line up a shot like this. It's exactly lined up to the pocket,
Uh-huh.
and you could shoot that shot right there. Shoot it soft so that the 15 barely makes it in the pocket. Call that pocket speed, and shoot it straight at the 10.
Oh, okay.
Soft, soft, soft.
Oh, well, but yeah, let's go into
Yeah.
the rail.
Right.
I mean, the corner.
And we look at exactly the same shot, exactly the same angle, and you shoot it hard, or medium speed, and this is aimed right here. This is aimed at my tip right there.
Okay.
So go ahead and shoot it hard. Medium hard. You don't have to kill it. Ooh, that one's, there must have been something on this. Sometimes there's a spot on the ball, could be a piece of chalk, could be a lot of different things that can cause that to happen. And what's interesting is this is a really good bar bet. You could show this to somebody, explain to them, have them shoot the shot, and then you take it and set it up for yourself.
No, when you lick it, you lick your thumb and
Yeah.
get rid of
So
the
I just
shit.
put a little spit on my finger, put it on the spot, and now I gotta shoot it.
And where did you put that 3-inch ball?
The contact point. I just put a little bit of moisture on my finger, put it on the ball, and then I line up this ball so the contact point is right there. And then put this right on the contact point. And then when you shoot it, it just goes straight down the rail. And what's really cool is, if you don't want to do the spit method, you put about a millimeter in between the two balls. And shoot about medium hard speed.
So it's not in contact when it's going this direction.
So what happens is,
It misses the ball.
it hits the rail before the ball, it compresses the rail and hits it like that. So the angle is actually away from the pocket, but the throw throws it into the pocket.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of complicated ways to say there's friction between the two balls.
Yeah.
So, and that matters because what I'm going to teach you as far as aim goes is contact points, right? So we have to be aware that the contact points are going to have friction, right? So what I usually like to do is there's two ways to overcome that throw. One is to put a little bit of spin on the ball. If it rolls into the ball, there's no friction, right? So let's say I'm shooting the 3 in that corner pocket, and I shoot it, but I have put left on it, and it's rolling into the 3 ball, like that. There's no friction pushing this way because it's rolling that way, see what I mean?
Yeah, you're
Exactly.
countering it.
We're countering the friction, so that way I can be a little bit more accurate. Unfortunately, that also means I have to put spin on the ball, which means depending on how good I am at aiming while I'm putting spin on a ball, I may be less accurate, especially on a long shot like this. So in that case, what I might do is I might just aim for the inside of the pocket.
Right.
I'm aiming for that point, right? So that's when I'm doing my aim, figure out my contact point, which I'll show you in a minute. So, alright, with no spin on the ball. So, what am I talking about when I talk about contact? You had half the equation already. You said that you come in here and you look at your aim, and you're looking at the contact point.
Yeah.
Right? What's going to hit that contact point?
Well, a point on this cue ball.
Exactly. And what point exactly on this cue ball?
The point between.
So, let's take these two strike balls.
Mm-hmm.
So your contact point is right in between that stripe right there.
Mm-hmm.
And we take this stripe, the exact same orientation, and we put it here. That's our cue ball.
Mm-hmm.
The contact point, now it's gonna change, it's gonna be here, but as this is rolling, it's gonna change.
Sure.
But it's the same point.
Same
The
axis.
same exact point, yeah, same axis.
Okay.
So, that's my contact point.
Yeah.
That's my contact point.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line those two up. Now I'm behind this ball, so I have to visualize. I have to pretend this cue ball is transparent.
Yeah.
But I have two eyes giving me 3D vision, and I can see that point,
Okay.
even though I can't see the point. But I see that it's right there. And this, my contact point is there. This is my aim right here.
Mm-hmm.
Contact point to contact point. My cue is parallel to that, because I'm hitting center ball. But my sight, my line of sight is in between these two balls and those 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I visualize that. I can't see it perfectly, but I visualize it, and I've done this shot so many times. And I didn't compensate for the
throw.
So what I'm really gonna do is line it up right there. And I do that subconsciously. When I'm explaining it to you, I don't.
Yeah.
But when I'm actually shooting, I do that subconsciously. I'm always aiming for the inside.
Really?
Yeah. On an angled shot, yes. If it's almost straight in, no. And if it's a cut shot, an extreme cut shot, no.
Yeah.
An extreme cut shot, the throw actually does not affect it as much, believe it or not.
It's not.
Because there's less friction, right?
There's momentum.
You're not pushing into the ball,
Right.
now you're just brushing by the
Right.
ball. So, yeah, the thinner shots don't have as much. So I aim these, contact point to contact point. And there's another way to visualize that, and I'll explain that in a minute.
So you pick a point, contact point. Now, is your contact point then, you're looking at here?
Yeah, wherever the aim of the ball
Okay.
is, so that's where I'm
That's your
aiming.
contact point.
That-
All right.
That's where I'm aiming, then my contact point is right where it crosses the back of that ball.
Okay.
That's my contact point, right there.
Okay.
Right, so it doesn't matter obviously what direction I come at, I'm always trying to hit that contact point with this contact point. Now, there's an interesting way to visualize this. I'll show you here. Where did my ball go? Thank you. All right. So, say this is the surface of the table,
Mhm.
right? So what I'm doing is I'm overlapping these two balls, right?
What do you mean?
So remember, I'm shooting this way. This is the surface of my table,
Oh, okay, alright.
and I'm shooting this way. So if I should shoot a straight in shot, if you come over here,
Yeah, it's just dead on.
they overlap each other 100%.
Mhm.
That's a dead straight shot. If I'm trying to cut it almost 90 degrees, it's gonna be like that. I'm aiming to the point where it's pretty much edge to edge,
Yeah.
right? Anything other than that is an overlap, right?
Yes,
A 30-degree angle is a half overlap,
okay.
like that. So, if you're looking at these two balls, and I'm shooting a 30-degree angle into the side pocket, that's about 30 degrees. My aim is gonna be the center of this cue ball at the edge of this ball.
So you get half.
The
Half
edge
and
of
half.
this, exactly, the edge of this ball to the center of that ball.
Okay.
The cool thing is, doesn't matter how much overlap there is. So here is my object ball, and here's my cue ball. My
Okay.
contact point is right there, right?
Yeah,
Make sense?
yeah, has to be.
If that's the cue ball and the object ball, where's the contact point?
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle. If that's the cue ball, or that's the object ball, and that is the cue ball, it's almost a full shot,
Right in the middle.
it's right in the middle. Every single time. There's this little foot, sometimes a fatter one, sometimes a skinny one, but it's a little football shape. Every time. You have to kind of visualize it because you're in 3D space.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to visualize that. So if I'm cutting this one ball, into the corner pocket, and I can see my contact point, especially if I'm lucky enough that my ball's like that.
So it's just off,
Yeah.
just a little angle.
The edge of the circle, or the one, at the bottom of the one there, that's the contact point, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So now I come over here, and I have a sliver of the ball I can see from that point to the left edge of the ball is about that much.
Yeah.
So I know that my contact point on the cue ball is the same amount, because it's right here. This part right here is the same width as that part right there.
Yeah.
All I have to do is match those two up to complete that little football shape. I haven't even looked at the angle of the shot.
So you're picking a point basically without even looking at the lineup between the ball.
Well, I look at the lineup to figure out where the contact point is, right? Because I'm not going to have that
That's
little.
true,
I'm not
yeah.
going to have that little reference.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's say I've got that. I just know I can see the contact point. And when I come over here, I'm still visualizing the contact point, and I can see how much, what the width of that from the contact point to the edge of the ball is. And I'm just going to double that to figure out basically where I'm going to aim the edge of this ball, right? So go back in the line of the aim of that shot.
What?
Like you're going to shoot it.
Oh, okay.
So you're in the aim of this, no, just get behind, I'm gonna show you.
Oh, okay.
So, you're in the line of the shot.
Right.
Contact point's right here,
Okay.
right? So from here to the edge of the ball, that's about that much. I double that, that's where so the double of that is right about here.
What do you mean double it? And then go back.
So, I have my contact point right here.
Let's say, it's a 5 millimeters.
Let's say it's that little edge of the ball.
Okay. So my contact point
That's
is
your contact
the
point.
edge of the circle.
Edge of the circle to the edge of the ball is about that much.
Yeah.
If I double that,
Double it, but from
this side, inside the ball. So there's a little, so that I'm complete. So I have you have the left side of the football. I'm completing with the right side of the football.
Which is about at the 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where the edge of the cue ball is aimed at. This edge of the cue ball
Really?
is aimed right there. You'll make the ball. Without even getting in line of this ball to do it, just using that, shoot this shot. Don't look at the aim.
Okay, so I take that little half moon, double it,
Complete the moon on the other, the football on the other side.
and that part you completed,
Is the profile of the cue ball that's going to hit it.
and what do I aim at?
Well, you're aiming the edge
To be at that same edge?
to be at the edge of the completed.
Double. Okay. Alright. It's weird.
I know,
Wow.
but it works.
Wow. That's cheating.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it feel that way? Like
Yeah.
all of a sudden you just start making balls. You're like, I know the secret. And once you get really good at this, the pockets are going to get huge.
Yeah.
That shot I was telling you about,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be huge. It's going to just easy, right? Try again. This time with you can't see the point, so you're going to have to visualize it yourself. Which means now, you're really going to cheat because you're going to come over here and visualize it.
Yeah. Okay. Come over here.
Visualize your contact point. And now you're looking at how wide that half of the football is.
Yeah.
Double it to the other side. You might have to do this a couple times because
Point is right there.
this is
Very
difficult to get used
small.
to. Yeah, it is small. It's a thinner cut, right?
Yeah, I just missed the point.
Yeah, it's just it takes you getting used to. I'll give you a little bit closer shot.
Okay. But I feel like when I come back over here,
Mm-hmm.
it's still a field shot. I mean,
Well, you kind of have to visualize where that point is, and you can do that. You have binocular vision, right? So you have
somewhat.
you can see in space where that contact point is.
Right.
It's right there, right? You can see, you can visualize a line coming from here, coming through the ball, and coming out the ball on this side.
Mm-hmm.
That's your contact point, right? There's my contact point. There's my double, right there.
So, contact point, move it over twice as far on the edge. And that's where my edge of the cue ball. Okay.
Okay, do you see the contact point? Try to visualize the contact point from where you're at over there.
Yep.
If you ever watch pros, they actually don't get in line with the shot very often.
Yeah.
They just get behind the shot and they kind of know. Because what they're doing is they're visualizing that line going through and they're looking at the contact point.
Yeah. Alright.
Visualize that contact point, double it, and then the edge over here is what you aim the edge of the cue ball.
I spun that too. Okay.
And it's okay to allow your instincts to kind of jump in, because you've shot this shot a million times.
Yeah.
So you know instinctively whether or not you're making the shot.
Right.
So ask yourself, do I have the green light? Ask your instincts.
Okay.
Does this feel right? If it doesn't, readjust, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then just before you shoot, visualize that football shape that I was telling you about, and how does it look, and that'll help
Okay.
you. You kind of use the two in concert.
Yeah.
You're using
you
this.
have to.
This is an exacting method, but you kind of have to use your instincts to feel. Does this feel right?
Yeah, that one I just looked up.
Yeah. This one.
And I looked and it looked good. I mean.
Exactly. And that's what you're doing, is you're trusting your instincts to kind of tell you, you know, yeah, I feel good about this because I've made this shot 100 times, 1,000 times. All right, same thing.
That is.
Doesn't matter what you're shooting at. You have an aim line, you have a contact point, you have two hemispheres that you're matching up, and you're shooting.
Okay. Where am I shooting? In the side?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so that didn't look right. Did not look right. Right.
I noticed that the stripe was actually aimed at that point. I think you were using the center of the stripe on that one.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, try not to get used to those, because they're almost never going to be exactly right. Like you might think, well, here's my contact point, but it's actually just off of that stripe, right?
Yeah.
So try to get used to not using visual cues like that. You have to visualize this on your own.
Okay, so it's like a blank ball.
Exactly.
Yeah, because when you're on the 8-ball, there's nothing to look at unless.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And really any ball, you're lucky if you've got that.
I don't know
Yeah, after a while, even that will become instinct, and you'll just, if you're having trouble with a shot, it's a tough shot, you know, you're not quite sure if you're aimed right, you can't get that green light, use that as a backup. But what I just taught you, try to use that as a check, as a backup, and say, okay, let me figure this part out, get it all lined up, and then see how it feels.
Right. Right, and it's just like the opposite, you get it lined up, and does it instinctually look like it's going?
Right. You know, and it even works with shots like this.
Yeah.
Now what we're really talking about here.
Like a cut?
Yeah, so you got a cut here.
Mm-hmm.
The contact point to the edge, you know, to the edge of the ball is a sliver, it's about like that. So, this is not an edge to edge shot. How many times have you gone, oh, this is edge to edge, so I'm just gonna aim the edges up, and then you overcut it, right?
Right.
This isn't edge to edge, this is the contact points. So, the contact point is right there, I got a tiny little sliver, there's my tiny sliver, I think I have it lined up.
So the contact point isn't big enough to throw it, basically.
Yeah, when it's thin like that, you don't worry about throw.
Okay.
Yeah. And if it's, you know, if you're shooting this to the corner pocket, then you're taking the harder shot. Might as well bank it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if all you're left with is something like this, you know, there's a ball blocking, you know, your opponent's ball is right here, you know, your opponent's ball is right here, this is the last ball before your 8 ball, you don't have a choice.
Right.
And there really is no safety because they've got balls in front of the pockets. You gotta cut it, then you just gotta buckle down, come down, don't worry about the throw, figure out your aim point there. There's my contact, here I can actually visualize both contact points, so I'm just gonna line those two up. I'm not even worried about the little football shape anymore, because it's negligent.
It's like it's needle.
And because it's such a steep angle, I gotta shoot this one pretty hard.
To not throw it,
or just to get it to the end of the barrel.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean.
I mean, I hit that thick and it still barely made it, so yeah.
Yeah, that's the.
This, for really thin shots, you're really just kind of eyeballing the edge to edge.
Yeah.
For straight in shots, or
Yeah,
even
like
slightly straight in shots, you're really just, you're not even using that little, you're just looking at the contact point, figure out the contact point on this side and just kind of line it up. And it feels green to you, and just shoot it. What's nice is that on a shot like this, you actually have a little bit of margin of error. You can go straight at the face of this pocket, all the way up to brushing the pocket here.
Yeah.
Especially on a diamond table. If you don't hit it too hard, you can even brush the rail. So I'm kind of aiming at the center of that, which is going to be the inside of this pocket right there. And now I'm not even using I'm not using that, I'm going by feel here because I've done this shot a million times. So,
and did you aim it, without considering throw, or, cause you hit it pretty fast? So
yeah, I hit it fast, so I'm not worried about throw much, and it's almost a full thick ball. So, you know, here was the line of aim, and here, you know, this is kind of what I shot at. So if I shoot this with no English, nothing at all, and not very hard, it still goes in. It brushed the rail when it really was aimed here, but it was negligent.
You brushed the rail, even though you were aimed here, because of the throw.
Because of the throw, yes. So, I mean, if I have something like this, and I come a little farther, about 45 degrees is where you're gonna get the most throw. And I hit it soft. Now I'm worried about throwing too much, right? So.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. Alright, let's play a couple games.
Okay.
And I'm gonna just keep an eye on you and maybe remind you to chalk, to slow down, to do your pre-shot routine, but try to focus on your pre-shot routine. How's your break?
It's all right. I mean, I rarely make anything on a 9-foot table. Break.
Well, 8-ball is very difficult. You can go ahead and break.
Okay.
You break with your playing cue?
No, not usually.
I have a break cue if you'd like to use it.
So I don't know, I've tried different breaks, but.
When you're breaking, for 8-ball, I would recommend that you break maybe a ball or two off the center,
Okay.
aim straight at the head ball. I like to use a rail bridge myself.
Oh, back here?
Do you use a rail bridge?
Yeah. Like this?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Now, when you're breaking, you want it, it's different than your normal shot. Okay, your normal shot, you get down on the shot, right?
Yeah.
But there's not a whole lot of power there. What
Right.
you want to do is you want to close your
Okay.
bridge, close your stance a little bit.
More toward, parallel.
Now, what I'd recommend you do is stand up a little bit, so like almost like your arms are straight.
Okay.
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 Now, actually stand up more. There you go. Okay.
Okay.
Now, kind of squat down a little bit into your,
Like
onto,
this.
to bend your legs. There you go.
Okay.
Now, as you're breaking, stand up. Don't do it real hard, but stand up as you're breaking.
Like as I hit.
As you're stroking, just before you stroke, start to stand
Okay.
up before you deliver. It's a little bit different technique. That's a good break. It's a little bit different technique. What you're basically doing is closing your stance. Gives you a little bit more power in your back leg, right?
Right.
So what you're trying to do is you're trying to give your back leg a little more power, right? And then, so what I do when I'm getting down on this break, I stand up. That's the position I want to be in when I'm breaking. So if you watch my back arm, what I'm doing is I'm going from this where my elbow is swinging to my entire arm having the power. Right? It's more of a, but it's kind of like I'm starting with the lower half of my arm, but standing up helps to speed it up. Right? Just a little bit, but enough that it adds a little extra oomph to it. And I'm also driving through with my back leg. So when I stand up, I kind of lean back on my back leg. So when I go to break, I'm kind of pushing forward with my back leg and standing up at the same time.
Okay.
And focusing. I'm doing that, but I'm focusing on trying to hit right in the center of the ball with control. I'm not focused on power, I'm focused on control.
So when you hit that ball, when your tip hits the cue ball, are you all the way up?
You're on the way up.
You're all the way?
Most of the way up. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, so what I usually do is I go from the point and I come back about 2 balls from the point at a 45-degree angle. To me, that works really well. You can try that. You can actually try breaking over here.
Yeah, I've done them all.
Whatever works for you, but whatever you're comfortable with the rail bridge.
Okay.
Now remember to close your stance a little bit. Stand up straight. Stand up straighter. Get comfortable like you're actually going to break in that stance.
Okay.
Now get down. Kind of put some spring into your right leg.
Back leg. Okay.
Okay. And as you are stroking, you're kind of pushing yourself forward with the back leg and standing up.
Okay. I see exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That leverage.
Yep.
That shot put type.
It gives you just a little bit more oomph, scatter the balls a little bit more. You got good scatter. It is really tough to make a ball
It is.
on the eight.
I don't even look at that as far as if it's a good break or not.
Yeah.
I
Now, playing somebody like Jason Williams, I go for the side second ball break.
Yeah.
Because I still have about as much of a chance of making a ball on the break, but the balls are going to be a little bit more clustered.
Yeah.
And they're usually on the side that you broke from.
I do that shot too.
Yeah.
But
it's a good one, but that one requires some really good technique.
I scratch a lot on that shot because I hit too high up. Usually.
What you want to do is about a ball and a half from the rail. You're shooting at the second ball, but you've got to miss this ball.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So what you do is you figure out your line of aim on that ball as full as possible. You could imagine a ball right here. That's essentially where you want the cue ball to be, but just a little bit off. Right?
Miss the head ball.
Right. But that's where you're aiming at. Now look at the aim line to that ball, and you can see that you're aimed at the edge of the 8 ball. Can you see that? You can't see the edge of the 8, but you can imagine the full roundness of the 8 ball.
You mean
the edge of the 8 ball? Right?
The center of this is aimed at the edge of the 8 ball. Oh, I
the
see.
center of your cue ball is aimed at the between these two balls, the contact point between these two balls. Aim at that and hit low.
Yeah.
Just straight low. That's all you want.
Yeah, I didn't stand up.
It's okay. See, you made a ball,
Yeah.
but there are still clusters.
Yeah.
But you got something to work with, right?
Right.
Combine that with the aim techniques that we've been using and your pre-shot routine, and you're going to start running balls. Really, your next part that you want to work on is going to be ball position.
Yeah.
And patterns. Something like this, you want to figure out how are you going to break out that 13 and the 8 ball, because you're going to need to if you're shooting the stripes. If you're shooting solids, how are you going to break out these two balls? Do these two balls have pockets? If you come over here and analyze this cluster, I know we're kind of getting beyond our what we were talking about.
Right.
If you analyze this cluster, you can see the 6 ball actually goes in this pocket.
Yeah. Okay.
If you were to leave the cue ball, this is the aim line for the 6. If you were to leave the cue ball over here, you could make the 6, push the 8 out, which pushes the 1 out. 8 ball becomes free, 1 ball becomes free, 6 ball goes in a pocket. How do the rest of the solids look to you?
Pretty
Not
good.
too bad.
5.
The 5 does go here.
Yeah.
Right. Usually we don't want to shoot past the side pocket, only because that point just gets you so many times. If you end up with the cue ball right here, then and you feel confident that you can make it, go for it.
Yeah.
But really what you want maybe is to use the 2 to get on a good position for this. This one will get you to this ball. This one will get you to the 6 ball. I mean, almost the key to this thing would be getting on the 2 ball as your next ball.
But your first shot's gotta be 4, right?
It has to be, because that's your only solid. So you have to kind of tell yourself, do I feel good about the solids? Do I want to come up here? Really what you probably want to do is get up here as soon as possible.
And shoot the 6.
Yeah. If you can shoot the 4, get past the 11 and come and stop it around here. If you go too far, you got the
4.
You have the 4. If you go too far, you have the 5. If you go too far, you got the 2.
Yeah.
If you go too far, you have the 2, right? That's a good path. That's come off the rail, you miss that 11, you try to come here, and if you come too far, you shoot the 7 and then come here to get the 6 and break out that 1. Earlier than later is what you really want.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, let's work on our routine. Pre-shot routine. Remember to look at the tip. And you really want to, especially if you're going to be using English, get in the light.
Yeah.
Find those little dark spots and then fill them in. And you want to use your stick, not the big stick. A break stick will work, but you'll miscue a lot more.
Yeah, you did. angle right, didn't hit.
You didn't follow it? Yeah, yeah, it was a pretty shallow angle on the floor. It wasn't too steep, so you kinda had to power that a little bit more, and in powering it, you didn't hit it higher, you kinda hit center ball and it just went straight
Yeah,
up into the,
yeah.
into this pack here.
Yeah.
It's- Let's try again.
Okay.
About like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you really wanna do is realize that when you shoot this, if you shoot it soft, it's gonna go forward more than it's gonna go sideways, right? You shoot it soft,
Sure.
the forward roll is gonna take effect sooner, and it's gonna come this way and probably hit the 11 or maybe even come behind it.
Yeah.
If you hit it harder, the cue ball doesn't have time to, because your cue ball is spinning forward, right, wanting to go forward.
Yeah.
But if you hit it harder, it's gonna go sideways more. So what you really want to do is open up that angle by having it come into the rail and back out before the forward roll really has a chance to hit.
So I don't hit so I don't get over in that mess.
Right.
Okay.
But at the same time, you don't want to hit it so hard that you overshoot your target, which is ideally right there.
Yeah.
Right?
So you either put follow on this.
Put it, follow on it, hit it with enough side that it's basically your side vector is going to be from here to here. Right? You need enough speed to get from here with no English at all to get from here up to there. Your
Okay.
forward spin is what's going to bring it over here.
Got ya. Okay.
So you're not going to have a lot of forward spin. It's going to be probably maybe half a tip of follow, but with some good pace.
And no left or right.
No left or right. Nice.
Okay.
That was pretty good speed. I mean, that was pretty good. And honestly, I would probably go ahead and go for this shot.
Yeah.
You're in a good position to do so. You just need to make sure you hit that 6 first. It's very, very close.
So I don't think it goes.
It does.
Does it?
Yeah.
Without hitting the 8.
You'll hit the 8, but you want to hit it second, not first.
Okay.
Make sure you got that contact point and you got the aim. And my suggestion is on this.
On this one, I would try to spin it. I mean, that would be my
I
normal.
was just going to suggest that you put a little bit of right hand spin on it, just to give it a little bit of throw. You can hit the 6 just a hair thicker, and it makes you feel more confident. It's a good idea. Just be very careful with it because spin can cause all kinds of weird things.
Right.
And whenever you do spin, you want to keep your cue as level as you possibly can.
Yeah.
So don't put low on it. Put a little bit more high because now your cue is a lot more level.
Ah, yeah.
That was beautiful. That's perfect.
Yeah.
You still have a shot. It's a tough shot, but you have a shot. You've also opened up the table for me, so.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's gonna happen though.
Yep.
I mean,
Well, I mean, that's really how you win games, is you open up the table so that you can,
Yeah.
it's nice to try to get your opponent's balls into clusters, but
now
honestly,
typically, not knowing any better, I would play this with a little bit of right
ooh, that's tight.
to get it to roll out here.
It'll probably want to naturally do that anyway. Let me see this. Let me look at this. Ooh,
So
I
that'll
think
go.
I think it'll go. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really tight though. You need to be very, very careful. And I wouldn't kill it and put a little bit of right on it and just.
Well, okay, what I'm doing here, I'm hitting the rail first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice. You have to.
Right. Okay.
A little tougher, but still doable.
Well, yeah, the 7's all I can see.
Sure.
And that's, then I have to go there.
Yep.
And then come over here for the 2. See,
Think about how.
That's a
Think
tough-
about the pace that you're going to need to use to make that 7 ball, and where the cue ball naturally wants to go. So if you were to hit that ball in medium speed, enough speed that you're not really gonna get a lot of roll off on the 7, right? You don't wanna use pocket speed, you want it to go.
Okay.
Where's the cue ball gonna go?
This direction?
Okay, how far do you think it'll go? Just naturally.
Thought over to here.
Yeah, so what
Right.
you're really looking at is your target should probably be, you're not gonna be able to hold it up to get the 2 in the side or the 5 in the corner.
Right.
That cue ball is gonna wanna come off and come out this way. So my suggestion would probably be to aim for this area. You get it in here, especially on this side of the 2, you make the 2 in the side, your 5 is set up perfectly for the 8 in the corner. That's your
Okay.
layout. So this is the key shot.
If 7 is the.
Yeah. This is a tough shot, but it's definitely doable. And if these 2 balls are nowhere in the path of your ball, then, of your shot,
Mm-hmm.
then completely ignore them.
If what?
If these 2
Oh,
balls
yeah, yeah.
are not in the path of the 7 ball, you can completely ignore them and just focus on the shot.
Okay. Okay, I can be happy with that.
Sure, that's a great shot.
Now I'm a little off on the 2.
Yep. So
I
now
mean,
is
this
when you
side
can-
would have been much better, of
Sure,
course, but,
we work with what we got.
yeah. So,
What are your options?
okay. I mean, I don't think I can make the 2 and come back through that mess.
That is very true, but that's an option, let's
Okay.
just name all of our options.
Okay, yeah, bounce off of that rail and back.
Okay,
And back, and, cause the 5's only gonna go either there or here,
or there. If
or
you-
there if I got down that far, but that's a long ways.
How steep is your angle here? Okay, and can you tell what the path is gonna be of the cue ball naturally, if you make the ball
Yeah,
decide?
pretty much, just pretty much gonna go toward the 14.
Yep, yeah, that's pretty accurate.
And
I would say it'd actually go between them, but you're still not guaranteed to come back.
Right.
Back between them, so.
So what I would probably do here is set up, with my abilities, probably come down here and go for a bank shot on a 5
Okay.
to here.
Now, you know that, at a certain point, you're gonna get a double kiss on the
Yeah,
bank. So,
I would stay on this side.
Yeah, if you're in line with or just to the
Yeah, if I
upside
can
of the pocket,
hold that.
I think that's good. You don't wanna be too far up, obviously. If you're too far up,
Yeah, I can't get the angle.
then you're looking at a cut shot,
Yeah.
so. Okay, if that's what you feel more comfortable with, then go for it.
Yeah. Okay. Now that's about the right angle for me.
Okay.
But I'm screwed on the 8.
Maybe. You kinda have to think, okay, maybe they're all low percentage, but what is your best opportunity to make that 8 ball?
You mean, where would I leave it?
Yeah, or which pocket is your best? Okay.
Here, because.
Coming here means that cue ball's pretty much gotta stay in that area.
Yeah.
Can you think of a way that you might be able to do that? Understanding that a lot of this is gonna be low percentage, you have a really good chance of snookering yourself on that 8.
Yeah, I guess my thought would be to come in and knock the 9 out of the way.
Okay. Realizing that if you hit the 9 on this side, then your cue ball's gonna wanna come down this way, and there's a really
Yeah.
good chance you're gonna snooker yourself. Another thing to think of might be that it comes between these two and kinda comes down in this area. Maybe you use the kind of speed that if you can get it between them, you have a shot up in that
Yeah,
corner.
okay.
Or you hit a little bit harder, maybe come off the 10 and start blasting some stuff out of the way, and you get lucky and
Yeah.
on the 8. If you can get a free and clear shot at the 8 ball, whether it goes into a pocket or not, that's the best option, right? Because then you can possibly
Control
play
it.
safe. You can control. You can put it in front near a pocket so that your opponent has to run the table.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So think about really what you want to do. Do you want to try to finesse it and hit the 9? Do you want to hit a little harder, try to come in between them and miss everything? Or do you want to go a little bit harder and kind of break stuff up? And then just kind of commit to
Right,
that.
okay.
They're all low percentage, so.
So let's just
And at that point,
come down here.
okay, so about a medium speed then.
Yeah,
Something that you'll still break stuff up if you run into them. You might get lucky. But if you
yeah,
miss everything, you might get a good shot on the 8 ball. You could, if you get it in this area, you could go for the corner, you could go for the side. You might even get lucky and leave it here and get a shot on this corner.
right,
Being down here is not a bad thing, if
okay.
you can get through that mess. Now, just focus on the shot. Get up,
Yeah, okay.
do our pre-shot routine.
Yeah.
Try to get in the habit of that every single shot,
Yeah.
even just looking at it. Hold it down in the light. There you go. Get in that habit right there.
Okay,
When I say chalk, that's what I want you to do. I want you to get it in the light, look at the tip. You don't have to chalk.
right.
At least look at the tip and see if that you've got coverage. Look at you!
Okay. And then this one, I would put it in the side.
Whatever you decide to do, commit to it. Don't second guess yourself. If you
Alright.
second guess yourself, you're thinking, maybe I should be going for the corner, then stand up.
Yeah,
Don't shoot your shot until you have the green light and you know what you want to do.
I like this side.
Okay. With the exception of redoing the 4, you just broke and ran.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's great. Good job. Alright, let's do a game of 9 ball.
Oh boy, now we're getting technical.
It's a little bit more concerned with your position play.
Yeah,
This is where we talk about, you know, zones, position zones, and
position zones being just areas.
areas that you want to put the cue ball in next, because sometimes you can be precise, sometimes you want to play the odds. Get into, you're not going to be perfect every time,
Yeah,
but you want to be, you know, if you can get the cue ball to follow an aim line, it doesn't matter if you're here or here or
Right.
here. You don't have to be that precise,
on
right?
the aim line.
If you're coming across it, now you have to be very
Right.
precise. So, a couple of tricks I want to show you.
Okay.
When you're playing with a template,
Mhm.
all the balls should be frozen. But if these 4 balls are frozen, this ball will go in the corner pocket when you break from that side.
If these are frozen,
This L shape right here.
if it's frozen,
If all those 4 balls are frozen, this ball will go in the corner
okay,
on your break.
if you hit it
If you hit the one dead straight
from like a ball
from that
width
side,
away,
from right here. If you hit from over here, then these 4 balls need to be frozen, and this ball will go in the corner.
And I'm aiming at the dead.
Dead center of the one ball.
Which one of these, is this the break?
Yep.
From, like, here?
Yep.
Like
About a little bit, just a little bit, you can see I break there from there a lot, I practice 9 ball a lot.
Oh,
All
yeah.
these marks are where my
Yeah, so
tip hits the,
it's just a little more than a ball.
yeah, about a ball and a half.
Yeah.
Ball to a ball and a half, yeah, that's good.
Alright.
Okay? And another trick is that this ball will most likely end up in this area. The 9 ball usually will stay in the middle of the back, which is kinda cool, because if you put the 8 ball here, then you got an 8-9 set up. If you put the 8 ball here, and the 7 ball here, 8's gonna go in the corner pocket with your break. 7 ball's gonna set up for the 9.
Okay.
Don't really need to know all that, it's a little bit of rack manipulation. Really not supposed to pattern rack,
Yeah.
but it's good to know that.
Yeah.
It's good to know where the balls are gonna go. And remember,
Same deal.
Yep.
And do I wanna hit it hard?
yes,
Okay.
yes, hard but controlled. More
Okay.
important is to hit the center of that one ball.
Look at that. That's almost cheating.
Yes, but
So
now-
you can
now
always
you're
make one on the break.
with a template, yes. If you're not using a template, then you have to be really careful to try to make sure those are frozen. If they're frozen, most of the time it'll go.
And if these are frozen, that one will go in. If these are frozen, that one will go on. Okay. Now, I would probably push on a shot like
That's
this.
a good idea. Where would you push to?
I don't think that 9 is going anywhere. So I would probably push to right down there.
Okay. May I make a suggestion?
Yes.
So you're trying to give me a really long cut shot on the one ball.
Yeah.
Look at where the 2 is. You give me a ball, let's say you put it here.
Uh-huh.
I make that ball, maybe I bump the 7, I got a chance to shoot the 2, or hit the 2 somewhere and play safe.
Okay. Alright.
Better off would be to put it over here somewhere, even if it's a jump ball, but like over here would be a good spot.
Where does that one go?
So if I cut, first of all, it's a tougher cut into the corner.
And you'll be over here.
And my ball is gonna go this way, which means it's gonna be a lot harder to get a shape on the 2 ball. Now, at the same time, what you're thinking is, if I get the ball back, what am I gonna do? It's the same thing I'm thinking of when I get the ball.
Mhm.
I may overcut it into the 2 and leave the cue ball over here, or even cut it and leave the cue ball back up here.
You mean cut it into the 2 to carom it in, or just to play safe?
Or just to play safe.
Okay. Alright.
If it goes in, then I'll deal with that. But, so, it's like, what do you feel comfortable with, and what do you think I feel uncomfortable with? That's kinda what you're
That's
doing.
a tough one.
You're playing your opponent
Yeah.
in this one, so. By the way, we have water and snacks here.
Okay.
So,
Alright.
Let me use my brake bead on it, but that's okay.
I must have hit it straight.
Yeah. Alrighty.
I want a cookie, thanks.
Yeah, those are peanut butter, in case you're allergic to anything.
I'm good.
Okay. Ooh, that was close. So now what I'm thinking is, how do I get shape on the 3? And what's tough is I wanna put a right hand spin on the cue ball.
Mm-hmm.
Thing you have to understand, or remember about right hand or left hand spin is if you have angle, you're gonna introduce curve.
Yeah.
So you gotta be careful of that. But what I'd really like to do is come back, miss the 9, hit this rail and come back over there.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit thinner than I wanted to. If that had gone straight in the pocket, there's a good chance I might have scratched. Now this one's tricky because I don't really have a shot on for the 4. So most likely I'm gonna probably end up playing safe. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shoot it with enough speed to come down and nudge this. If I miss it, I'll probably play safe on you. But if I nudge it, I might be able to nudge it into a position to make to shoot the ball. So
Oh, I got
trying,
you.
So I'm gonna try and come off the 3, off the rail here, and just come in and just
Not the
just
4,
enough
that
speed
way.
to just kind of spread those out a little
Right.
bit. A lot of times in your breakouts, try to remember you don't have to smash them, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
it's more surgical. You just want to pop things out a little bit. Remember that 8-ball cluster that we had before with the 6-ball, the 6-ball in the corner, right? You ran that rack out. That 6-ball pushed. You wanted to try and push the 1-ball out, right? You
Right.
didn't need to smash that stuff apart.
Right.
You just needed enough speed to pop the 1-ball out of the way. Pockets, or just enough speed to hit that 4. That works too. But
Yeah.
Alright, so what I like here is kind of a 2-way shot. I'm going to use just enough speed, trying to pocket here, come back to be able to see the 5, but if I miss the 4, you're safe.
Yeah.
I like playing 2-way shots. How are you on your banks?
Good. Side banks.
Okay.
Well,
So
I'm getting better at these. You play 1 pocket?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's gotten me good at these corner banks.
Ooh. Oh, and I think I snuck it out a little bit for you.
Not enough.
You don't think you could cut that in the side?
No.
Why?
Angle's too much.
Is
It's
it?
too far past. To me, it is. But I mean, I would, if I had to, I would curve it a little bit.
Well, you don't even need to curve it. If the angle between where the ball needs to go, and if you cheat the pocket a
Oh,
little bit,
that's true. That's true.
if you can see the contact point, you can hit the contact point. And as long as you're not on this line, which is 90 degrees, if you're less than 90 degrees, then you're about 80 degrees right now.
So in
It's a
this,
thin cut.
in this case, yeah, I'd forget all that football stuff and then just try to barely hit it.
Exactly, just edge to edge, just.
And you don't
make
put
it-
anything on it.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
Your 5's down here.
And I want to just, let's see if I could, well, I want to bounce it and then come back to about here.
Okay. That's, you're gonna have to use some slow speed though, because it's not gonna lose very much speed at all. When you hit the
Yeah.
floor. Oh, you're gonna play safe on me? Oh, that's how we're playing, okay. Alright.
And then you would have had the 5.
Yeah, I would've run out by there, I think.
Yeah.
Now you're almost a perfect straight line,
Yeah.
so you kinda have to think, yeah,
I mean, I could bring it back.
sure, you can bring it back to about its current position and then give yourself a cut shot on the 5. With some low left, get right on that 6.
Or
Remember that you gotta play your own shot, or your own repertoire, right?
yeah, if I
So-
follow it, I am stuck on the side only. So I would bring it back.
Okay.
So I want to.
Yes, sir.
I would probably put low left on this.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm gonna let my stroke out a little bit. I don't wanna try to baby this, so I'm actually gonna try and go past the side pocket and shoot the 6 on the other side. That's my goal.
Okay.
Wasn't sure. Get up above that. But I'm okay with this. Going away from the 7. Might be just enough angle that I can actually come back and out.
Okay.
I think that's what I'm gonna do. I don't want to put any left on it. I prefer to put a little bit of right, but I think I'm just gonna put straight draw on it.
Okay. No, that was impressive.
On this, I'm gonna put low left, and basically what I'm gonna try and do is just kind of come back out to here. I'm trying to leave it as straight as possible, but I can't just stop it there, so. I'm trying to lengthen the angle a little bit, lengthen the, coming back.
Bring it back further then.
Right. If I had just hit it straight, it would be out here. But by putting low left, it kind of draws it back and brings it to
And
this
you don't
position.
want to end up here.
Right.
Yeah.
And then of course this is a much easier shot for me.
See how you got down there and just shot that in.
Mhm.
That's especially a typical shot that it's a 90+%.
Mhm.
I want to be able to just all instinct or all subconscious.
Yep.
You know.
And that's exactly what the pre-shot routine and everything is supposed to get you to, is a point where you're more consistent, you're more doing the same thing every single shot.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I probably shouldn't have been so blasé about that, but
Yeah, it's
you know,
very.
in the current environment,
Yeah.
you know, if I were playing in a tournament, you know,
Could have taken more time.
obviously I would have taken a little, I would have done my pre-shot routine properly and gone down and shot that properly. But and maybe since that's the lesson I'm trying to teach you, I probably should have done that.
Yeah, well.
But as long as you recognize.
But I know what's
Yeah.
going on. Yeah.
So just remember your pre-shot routine.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure that you're getting the habit of chalking.
Uh-huh.
It's better to chalk more often than
Yeah.
not often enough, right? And really all you're doing is just.
I mean, I chalk every shot, but I'm not doing it like you. I mean, I'm not. I'm just.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So yeah, you
It's just
try to get in the
part of the
habit. Try to get in the habit of looking at your tip and always just using a corner of the chalk. Basically, what you'll end up with is if you use the same piece of chalk all the time, is this cross that just basically. Yeah, that's what my chalk almost always ends up looking like. So this is the chalk I use, and you'll notice that Town and then Predator, I think they do the same thing, although they have more of a dimple. Yeah, the Predator chalks, but it's a bigger dimple.
Oh, yeah, you can use that dimple as almost a flat surface.
Yeah, just about, yeah, because it's a lot bigger than, so I just
Yeah.
kind of brush on like that. But what it does is it flattens out the these edges to a point where it becomes flat like that.
Oh, okay.
But with the town chalk, they come like this, and it kind of encourages you
Yeah.
to just kind of brush it on. And then also, by doing that, you're making your chalk last a lot longer. You're just putting enough on there that you need, and you're not grinding it on.
Yeah.
You grind it on there, when you hit the ball, the chalk goes everywhere, it's on the table, you're getting extra chalk coming down here. All that chalk could be used for the tip,
Yeah.
right? If you do it nice and light, it's not going anywhere else, but it's going in the tip. So,
Alright.
so make sure that you chalk every time, you get the line of your shot, figure out your aim point, the line of the target, and the line of your shot. Make sure you're lined up against that target. Use that football method.
Yeah.
If that helps you, if you need it, it's in your bag.
It's a check.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can use it now as a check, or you can use it as your principal way of aiming, and then use your instincts as a check. You can use either way, whatever makes you more comfortable for any shot. From one shot, you might use that because maybe it's a 45-degree shot and ball's right here. You feel more comfortable using that and then kind of trusting your instincts. Whereas if you're shooting a straighter shot, you're going to go with your instincts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're not feeling that green light, you can use that and say, well, am I really lined up? You know?
Yeah.
Use that football methodology
I think always the last thing I do is the instinct.
Yes.
Like, does that ain't going.
And that really is what you're gonna, especially if you're playing in a match. If you're playing in a league, you're playing in a tournament, always go with that. Green light is the last thing you're looking for.
Yeah.
And then shoot the shot. When you're practicing, you're not necessarily looking for that green light, but analyze every shot after your shot. So you say you're practicing that contact point football method, right? Just use that, shoot the shot, make a note of what happened, try again. Don't use your instincts in that case. Just do that. Eventually, your instincts will kind of catch up to you and say, hey, you know.
Yeah, if your instinct
this is good, you know.
Yeah.
Especially on the harder shots, you know, the 45-degree angle.
Where you don't
shots.
really have an instinct. I mean, it's like,
right.
You know, it's not so automatic.
Yeah,
for me.
I mean, if I'm playing a game, I'm constantly trying to give myself 15 to 30-degree angles on every single shot.
Okay.
I don't want straight in shots unless my next shot is unless I'm doing a stop shot to get my next shot, or I need to drop the length of the table or something like that.
Yeah.
I prefer to have an angle I can control the speed a lot better. I'm comfortable with 15 to 30-degree angles. 45, 60-degree angles, those are a lot tougher. They're a lot steeper, you know, a 60-degree angle, you're like right here. I can make those, but they're a lot tougher. And I have to be more conscious of the contact point. And my method, I think I subconsciously use the football, but my method is just to kind of, what I originally was telling you, the contact point to the contact point.
Yeah.
I look at those two and kind of visualize those two. The football's kind of in the back of my mind. Then I kind of go, do I have a green light here? Do I really feel good about this? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Sure. So every shot you're going to use a little bit different tool.
Yeah.
You know, just use whatever comes naturally. And the nice thing about, this will be my last thing I tell you before we're done here. The thing I like about a 30-degree angle, and I can tell you exactly what 30 degrees looks like. So that right there is aimed into the pocket, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now if I come over here and visualize my contact point to the point where the center of this cue ball is aimed at the edge of the three, right? So if I aim this way, center ball to center ball, right? If I'm way over here, center ball to space.
Yes.
If I'm right here, center ball to the edge of the three.
Okay.
You see that? And I can just come straight back on this line.
And it's still center ball to
Center ball to the edge of the three.
Okay.
This is a 30-degree shot.
Okay.
And you can recognize that by putting your fingers up like this. Just don't stretch them too far. Just that's about 30 degrees. You put the base of the V right on the three ball. This is in line with the cue ball. And your finger will point at the pocket. So that's a 30 degree. If it's 30 degrees, I don't have to aim at the edge of the ball. and I can focus on where the cue ball is going.
But if it's 35 or 40, that changes, right?
Yeah.
Or 25.
Yeah. And you wouldn't, what's surprising is, it's not that much. Right, so this is 30 degrees, so 35 degrees would be a little bit farther than this one. So that's more like 35 degrees, right? It's, so when I do this, I'm pointing right here.
Okay.
If I do that, I know that I can aim at that edge, aim just a little bit outside the edge, just a little bit, maybe even put a little bit of left hand.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're doing. So you figure what worked for 30 degrees, and then you compensate.
Yeah. I've done that in the past. That's one of the ways that I learned about all the different angles and stuff. I've shot shots like that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So I don't really do that. Subconsciously, I probably do,
Yeah.
but I know it's there. And if for some reason I'm having a particularly bad day, I just don't seem to be able to make a ball. My instincts aren't working very well. I have these techniques to fall back on,
Yeah.
to kind of help me.
Mechanic.
And what that does is it gets my brain into the, okay, now I can make balls. And then I start to get the confidence, and then the instinct comes back.
Yeah.
So, those are good backup techniques. The ghost ball's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
The 30-degree angle is a good one. The contact point to contact point, the contact or the football overlap thing. All of those things are really good ways to, to kind of back up your instincts. So.
Okay, so the football and you're aiming right at the center of that football. Yeah.
Basically, yeah, what you're doing is, so you're saying, okay, well, here's the contact point, here's the curve of my ball, that's the half of the football, right?
Yeah.
So visualize the second half of the football, and then overlap my cue ball to take up that space. So I'm aiming the edge of the cue ball to the edge of this piece right
Football.
here. Right.
Okay.
In that case, if I'm using the football method, I'm not as concerned about the contact point. Contact point gives me a reference to where the center of the football is. Once I've got that, I don't care about the contact point anymore. I care about matching my cue ball up to this part of it. So that
The edge to edge.
exactly, the edge of the football to the edge of the cue ball, and I just shoot it right there. The contact points will make their contact, and the ball will go right in.
Oh.
Yep.
All right. And so what kind of drills should I work on? Just practice.
Yeah, I have this for you. I'll show you this real quick.
Okay.
So this is progressive practice. And what this is going to do, you have 4 different drills on this one. And you can adapt this once you get used to how this works. This kind of teaches you how each one of these things works, like the concept of what progressive practice is. And then this right here tells you each of the, starting from this page. So you have, this is 1, and then it goes 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then A, B, C, and D are the different drills. So A is stop shots. So you can see on 1A, the object is you put the object ball right there.
Mm-hmm.
You put the cue ball next to value number 1, and you do a stop shot.
Okay.
Cue ball has to stop in the gray area. Leave the cue ball in the square, do not touch the end rail. That's a good stop shot. If you make it, you go to the 2.
Are those on the rail?
Yeah, well, they don't have to be on the rail.
So like that.
You can kind of adjust, yeah, it doesn't, however, yeah, there's no requirement that it has to be right on
Okay.
the
So say I make it.
Yeah, you make it, then you put the cue ball on 2. You'll see the little arrow that kind of shows you move the cue ball.
And still keeping it in the gray.
Still keeping it in the gray, yes. So if I'm doing, like, say, I'm doing shot number 5. Cue ball is right here, like it shows. I'm at position number 5. Like I said, you don't have to be right on the rail. And this diamond is
Yeah,
a gray area.
that
right?
quarter.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a stop shot on the 8 ball. As long as it stays in that area.
You put slight.
I put a little draw on it.
Yeah, okay. That's what I did.
Yeah, in order to make it stop. So And you score based on your 10th shot.
Okay.
So you do this 10 times.
Being this whole 7, 7, 7.
Yes. Well, no. You just shoot shot 1, 2, 3. Miss this one. That's shot 4. Shot 5. You go back down. Shot 6. Shot 7. Shot 8. Shot 9. Shot 10. If you make 10, your score is 5. If you miss 10, your score is 3.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're just going to shoot 10 shots and then move your cue ball, and wherever your cue ball would be on shot 11, that's your score.
Okay.
Right? So if you make, let's say you're really good at your stop shot.
Yeah.
So you make it. 5th shot, 6th shot, 7th shot, 8th shot, 9th shot, 10th shot.
Oh, you just leave it here.
Yeah, you score 10.
At the highest point.
Yeah.
And you don't do
You score 7. Yeah, you shoot there. The diamond is right here.
Oh, I got it.
So you just shoot from that position. Yeah. So let's say you miss one, you make this, miss this one. That's shot 5. Shot 6 you make, 7, 8.
So do you go back one?
You go back, yes. If you miss, you go back. If you make it, you go forward.
And then you just make the ball and stay here.
Yes,
Okay.
and in this particular one, it's
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
This one here's a follow shot. It's the same kind of thing, except you can see here you're moving both balls. So they're both a diamond apart. You start here, right? You start with the object ball at 1, and then you just move all the way back.
And you still want to stay down here.
And you need to make the cue ball. So let's say one of your shots, this is shot number 5, right? Because the object ball's on is the one. So I'm not, and I can put a slight angle on it. Doesn't matter. Let's set this up. The distance is what matters, and I'm going to leave it on the end rail. And it has to stay one diamond from the end rail. That's your gray area. If you do that, you succeed. Right? Same thing. 10 shots. You're just going farther and farther away. Here's a draw shot. Draw back at least one diamond. So the cue ball or the object ball stays there, right? So it's right there, and the object is
okay, I got you.
it has to come back at least one diamond. So it has to come back. Past this diamond. So let's say I'm on shot 4. I do it from here, obviously, we're going to chalk up. So shot 4, I'm going to put a lot of draw on it. Success! Then I do it from 5, and then 6, and then 7. So that's your draw shot, and then the last one is a cut shot. You put the ball right there. You put the cue ball in the middle of the table, even with these diamonds, 1, 2, 3, right? And you try to make that ball. So again, working 1 through 7. 7's the maximum you can get. You get 10 tries. You go on to 2. This area is a little bit smaller. Your follow shot area is a little smaller. Right? Your draw shot, you have to draw back at least as far as the starting point now.
Well, so if you're on 6,
you got to draw back to 6. Yes. This one's harder.
Yeah.
Your cut shot, you see you're farther away from the pocket,
Mm-hmm.
and you're farther away from. You're not in the middle of the table anymore. You're shooting. Those are just longer, tougher cut shots. That's all. Going up to 2, that's what that means. Going up to 3, you got to stop it within 1 ball.
Okay.
Okay.
No matter where.
Yep. On this one here, the draw shot, you have to draw back as far as the start bit, but no more than 2 diamonds. So you can't go past. It has to be within. Draw back as far as the start, but no more than 2 diamonds extra.
Extra. Okay, so you gotta draw it back and stay within a diamond, or within 2. Okay. Wow.
This one here, the follow shot, you have to actually follow into the pocket.
Okay.
You have to scratch.
Okay.
That one's not too difficult to do.
Now I do it all the time.
And again, you don't have to be right on the rail. So this is at 4 here.
Alright.
So you just line it up 1 diamond away, straight into the pocket, and then your object is to make the ball and follow into the pocket. You do that, you're successful.
That keeps you straight.
Exactly. So you're following to an area, but your area is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Your cut shot's farther away. And obviously, it just gets yeah.
Crueler and crueler.
Yeah. So you have to This one's interesting. This ball is 2 balls away from the rail.
Okay.
You have ball in hand to put the ball in the corner pocket, and you have to leave the cue ball somewhere along these lines.
Every time.
Yes.
Now, so your first shot, you try to leave it here?
Yep.
Second here?
Yep.
And it's the same shot every
It's
time?
exactly the same shot. You have ball in hand each time,
Just where you need.
but you just have to figure out where to put it, how hard to hit it, to make it so that it's basically a stun shot
Mm-hmm.
to try and leave it there. So, obviously, we can talk about some of these. If you're trying to figure this out, if you need some help, you need some clarification, you can contact me anytime. Happy to help you out with these. And there is a page here where you can record your scores. Okay. So your set number is 1 through 5, right? And then you score your A through D.
Uh-huh.
You total them, right? And your score is the average of those. Yeah. And these are, you don't necessarily have to do all of them. You can use this any way you want to.
Yeah.
But basically, you're trying to get a score of 5. 4 or 5 is good for you to be able to move on to the next one.
Okay.
You can do it any way you want to. If you decide that you know that what you're really trying to struggle with, maybe you're having no problem with the draw shot, but you have trouble with these kind of shots. So you put it here, and you have a little bit of an angle. So you start. This is your 3,
Mm-hmm.
and your object is to try to bring it back with some low left, right? So you can adjust your progressive practice, whatever you want to do. This is a guideline to try to help you with things you're working on.
It's a frame.
Yes, progressive practice allows you to take any kind of shot that you're having problems with.
And then just make it harder.
Right.
Harder.
If you're having trouble with cut shots,
Mm-hmm.
this will be 1, and then maybe you want to do the 2 diamonds away and half a diamond up the table. So that would be where you shoot from to cut that in.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 would be from here and from here. If you're doing the same shot, but you're trying to make the ball farther.
Go further.
You know, you could make up a progressive practice to do that,
Of course.
right? So, and then see where it is that you're having the most trouble. Or maybe this is 1, 2, 3,
Oh, yeah,
4,
yeah,
5, 6, 7, right?
Yeah.
And then if you miss this shot, you just kind of come back this way. You can put these little reinforcement tabs. These are really, really good to practice with.
Yeah, I've used those.
Yeah. So you put these on the table, and then you put your 7 positions. Maybe you just go straight across the table,
Uh-huh.
right? To try to cut this ball in. Your set 1 is close to the pocket, right? And you set your ball up. You set your cue ball up here, 7 positions across.
Okay. Then we do 7 here.
You can do 7 here, you do your 7 across that way. Or if you want to make it harder, maybe your 7 go across this way. It's even a tougher cut.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of different ways. It's a really great way to practice your cut shot and kind of give you a way to compete against yourself to see how you can improve.
Yeah.
And, maybe one day you're having no problem with the cut shot, but you want to know exactly how well you're doing, right? So one day you do this and you can get to 3 with no problem, but you can't seem to get past 3. Or you keep going 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, because you keep missing 4. Next time you do it again, and you get to 5, right?
Yeah.
And now you have a very clear metric on exactly how far you get. So yeah, this progressive practice was put together by Dr. Dave and Bob Jewett.
Yeah, I'm not.
Do you know Bob Jewett?
I'm not familiar.
Oh, okay. They've got some great videos online. Bob Jewett actually plays on the Crown, but he's been in the pool community for a very long time. Bob Jewett, yeah, he's like the master of cue ball physics. Yeah, I remember long time ago reading some of his books. And if you ever need another copy of this, if you lose this or you need more sheets or whatever to record on, just let me know. I'll send you a link to it. It's a PDF. I can just
Okay. Do you do Venmo or do you want cash?
Do we do Venmo? Do we do Venmo?
Sorry.
What did she say?
Everything but.
Oh.
We do the Cash App, we do Square.
Somebody got into our account
Oh, yeah?
years ago, yeah, and I've never been able to get it resolved.
Oh, you
I've tried
80
so
bucks,
many
right?
times.
60.
60?
Yeah, it's 60 for 2 hour lesson,
Look at that.
40 for. Thank you.
Yeah. And then I think we're set up for Wednesday.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
You wanna go over this stuff on Wednesday? Anything else you wanna cover?
Let me think. And, I'll let you know.
If you wanna try out your progressive practice, and maybe we can just work through some of those drills, if you
Yeah,
want,
yeah.
we could do that. We can work on cue ball position. We can redo, kind of play a couple games and see how you're doing with your pre-shot routines
Yeah.
and stuff, so.
Okay.
Cool.
Play a thing. All right,
Thanks
thanks.
for coming by,
Thank
yeah.
you. It's been very helpful.
Very welcome. And, so the,